What up, y'all? And welcome to the Roast with Friends podcast. It's your boy JayMan here again with the lovely and talented C Rock. You want to tell him something?
Yeah, like and subscribe, please. We need followers, y'all. You know, please tell your mama, your enemies, your grandmama, Mark. Tell Mark and Mark 2.0 to subscribe.
Both of them, both Marks.
I'm sorry about the pizza, Mark. No, but thanks for watching, y'all.
And we are joined again by the lovely, charming Ellise.
Hi, stay cool. It's hot.
That's true. That's true. And then we are also joined again with the lovely Shareen.
Hello, I have nothing to say except for yes, stay cool. I'm copying you. I have nothing better than
that. Stay cool, y'all.
Stay cool.
And I need to hear it twice.
And Chris, you can start with your morality question first. And I guess we'll have Ellise answer first, have the guest answer first. So go ahead and ask away.
All right, this is called the temporal paradox. I don't know if you guys ever heard it. Temporal means time, basically, for anybody who, like, you might have heard that word in movies or whatever. But so imagine if somebody built a time machine and you can go back in time and kill Hitler, but as a baby, before he did the Holocaust or did anything. Or you kill the Pilgrims before they slaughter the Native Americans, or you do something to prevent something so horrible. Is that ethical? So I guess the question is, would you kill baby Hitler?
This is a really, really tough one. It really is. Fuck. Oh my God. The only reason I say, oh shit, that's a really tough one. Because can I justify my answer?
Yes.
Of course.
Thought experiment.
Okay. I don't like Hitler, but I feel like Hitler was the Holocaust was horrible. It was terrible, but I feel like we kind of learned from it, and I feel like since then, like there have been like rules and laws in place to prevent it from happening again. So I'm gonna go ahead. Fuck, man, somebody's gonna call me anti-Semitic. I'm so scared. And the scientific like advances that he brought.
We got
on,
Ellise Irving over here. Irving.
Ellise West.
Go ahead and share that Amazon link, girl.
I thought for a second though you were gonna be like, you know what, the Holocaust was horrible, but that nigga had a point. You know, I thought you were gonna go that. I thought you was going that route for a second. Like, oh shit, you have to edit this one out.
I feel like
I know who I was dealing with over here.
But you know what? I will justify my answer by saying this: if it wasn't Hitler, there's just a really heavy anti-Semitic like presence at that time. That's how he got so powerful. So I think it would have happened. It would have been like kind of inevitable. If it would have been him, it would have probably been somebody else. So if I don't think I would have killed baby Hitler.
Yeah.
Hitler was Jewish.
Yeah.
He was a quarter Jewish. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the dilemma that comes into that one is it ethical to kill somebody before they actually did the crime that they were being accused of? You know what I mean? So, like, if you know that this person's going to be a mass murderer, is it cool to kill him before he ever killed anybody? It's like, is that an ethical thing to do to prevent it? Because it's not really revenge. He didn't do it at the time. So it's like, that's the dilemma, because part of me is just like, yeah, fuck that baby. You know, like, just to be honest.
I feel that.
Fuck that baby.
But it's like, you just kind of like, shit, you know, like, he didn't do anything when you killed him. Like, so yeah, that's sort of part of the ethical dilemma of that question. But
I want to be clear, I don't like Hitler. I think he's a piece of shit. If I would rather torture him alive for the things he's done. Damn, but so many lives could be saved.
Like, think about it. like I used the example of the Pilgrims. Like it was like what 5 million natives on this continent prior to Europeans arriving. Now 90% of them are gone. Like you're saving like over 4 million people. Like it's you can make an argument, but it's like, damn, is that ethical?
That's a good question.
And that sucks because I feel like low-key I'm a descendant of both. So it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
It's so fucked up. Yeah, it's fucked up. You know. So Shareen, you killing baby Hitler?
Oh, real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Shareen.
No, it's okay.
At least sometimes when you're talking, like your face is getting cut off. I don't know if you want to get in front of Kame's house again.
Yeah.
That's a little better. There we go. Yeah, when you're talking, it was fine. I'll just let you know you're getting cut off a little bit. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Shareen.
I really appreciate her honesty because sometimes, you hold back, but like I think the whole point of this is to really think it out. So I want to say you didn't come across in a bad way. I appreciate you being honest. And I have seen too many or heard too many scenarios of like the butterfly effect. So like if you had this knowledge and you went back in time and you said, if I kill baby Hitler, then it's going to prevent all these deaths. Something else may happen that could have been worse. So I don't know, like I would be very, very tempted to want to change the past in many different scenarios, but I think I should leave it alone. And I think it'd be an incredibly hard decision, but I don't know what the butterfly effect would be if he didn't exist, if he wasn't allowed to grow up. Well, what else would have happened, So
excellent point.
So I'm going to say, just based on some of the examples I've seen in fiction, of course, I will not kill the baby. Not this time.
Not this time. But there's another scenario. Shareen will kill that baby.
Yes, stay tuned. No.
Put his ass in the bathtub. Just like on what's that movie? Like on The Grudge and shit with fucking teddy bear, like or his cat or something.
Oh.
But yeah, that one a little shook me because I think you made the best point. I didn't even think about that. You made a really good point.
It's a great answer.
Jay?
That actually was going to be my answer, almost word for word. I'm a big fan of movies and TV shows with alternate universes where you make one little change and then you think you did the right thing. Then you go back to the future and it's like, oh shit, it's 10 times worse. Like, let me go back and not murder this person. I really enjoy those types of stories. And so, with this situation, I would say, no, I wouldn't do it either, because what if I am, just like Shareen said, making a situation that's 10 times worse? What if I get rid of Hitler and almost like Ellise said, somebody worse than Hitler comes along? What if it's not just Jews? What if he, the entire continent he takes over and now the entire world has to try to, tear down this, what's the word?
Frieza.
That's true.
Hitler and Frieza confirmed. Okay. But
I'm trying to think, what's that word called where somebody's like
a tyrant
dictator and they're evil and a tyrant.
Yeah.
So what if he would have taken over the entire continent, right? And then now everyone's armed in this continent. It's almost like a world war, but it's a world war on one continent. You have to come from different angles. All the people, soldiers there, they're all heavily armed. And it's just, it's like its own little world out there. Like, that sounds like a movie almost. Like, what if something that bad happened? So
let's write it.
Like I said, that's a terrible, terrible decision to make. Obviously, if the option was there, you kill Hitler and the entire timeline doesn't change, which actually is impossible. But if there's a way that you can guarantee me that, also I could be killing myself. I might not even be born. You guys might not even be born because of something that happened that long ago. It couldn't even not be killing Hitler. It could be maybe killing Hitler a day later, a day earlier. It could, butterfly effect. We might not even be here. So I would be very, very hesitant to change the past in any type of situation, but it's also fuck Hitler over here.
Yeah. Because even if you went back in the past and you made like there was a green light and you turned the light red and you caused like traffic to stop there. And so then the person in the car got to a cafe or something 2 minutes late and they didn't meet a girl in there and they didn't get married and then go and have Chris like, 10 years later. So even like the smallest change, and then that's a huge change. So I'm imagining when you were telling that story, like nuclear war, and then we just don't exist. Like there was, extinction or something. So we never know, but I would love to watch a movie like that. I mean, I think that'd be very interesting. So yes, get to writing. You can cast us. We'll be in it. I'm volunteering all of us.
In both parts.
Side note, that means there would be no microwaves because there would probably be World War II, but would there be need for that microwave weapon? And then we would be using the oven.
Can't make any more Hot Pockets, man.
Damn you, Hitler.
Damn you.
Eating cold Hot Pockets. Like, man, this just don't feel right.
The motherfucker's always cold anyways. You cold in the middle, hot on the outside.
It just don't feel right, man. I feel like philosophically something's wrong. I think, I chose that one because I think time travel paradoxes are really like,
that was a good one.
They're the most interesting. There's one about even the movie Back to the Future that a lot of people, a little bit of a side topic, but a lot of people glaze over. Like in that movie, he like changed the past and he made everything sort of better. He essentially took his family and replace them with strangers because those families had a totally different upbringing and a totally different sequence of events that he wasn't part of because he was part of that other timeline. So when he went and changed it, it's like changing the timeline, and then you come back and you have your brother and sister, but all that stuff you guys went through together, you never went through it together. So you're essentially living with a bunch of strangers that you have nothing about. They allude to that They allude to that in the butterfly effect. Like, remember when he changed the past the first time and he was the frat person, and then his girlfriend was like, "What's about you? Like, you're different. Your accent has changed," because he's not the same person that she knew. He was from a different timeline. So he wasn't, so it wouldn't have been like, "Oh, hey, I really love this girl." It was like, nah, you're really like, you just woke up in bed with somebody you don't even fucking know, So it's like really like that's a paradox that nobody really thinks of. Like you're changing the past, but you're not changing yourself. So
Question: I want to know what you think.
Well, what?
Like, what would you do?
Would I kill Hitler?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm stupid. I probably would have did it. Fuck
that baby.
No, like once you guys brought up your points, that kind of changed my standpoint. But I can't. My original thing is like, if I can stop the Holocaust, World War II, fuck them. I just have to live with that, and I just have to like fuck it. Like it makes me sound like a psychopath kind of. So like, but now you brought up all the shit. Well, what if something worse happened? Like, oh shit, yeah, that's true. Like, like I didn't even think about that. I was just like, man, I'm going back in time, rifle in hand, go back in time. We're gonna kill it, baby. What the fuck is wrong with this?
You knock on his mom's door, and she's like, "Is that a black man on the door?"
That would be surprising.
Yelling at me.
I've never seen one of those.
Yelling at me in German and shit. I'm kicking the door in like Arnold Schwarzenegger and from fucking Terminator and shit.
Bring me the baby now.
Get down. Shoot. Like I'm on a fucking mission. Saving the world, god damn it. That's what I'm thinking. But now you're like, oh man, like what's so worse happens? You know what? I didn't think that far into it, like maybe I shouldn't act so quickly. Like
hey, that'd be a hell of a movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the Terminator going back in time to kill Hitler.
Kill baby Hitler.
Wow.
What a story. Hey, everyone would love to watch Arnold killing a bunch of Nazis. What the fuck? Man, they need to hire us. We over here coming up with movie ideas.
I know.
I need a check.
Yeah.
They couldn't. See, Arnold too old now. We couldn't do Arnold. It'd have to be like Liam Neeson,
The Rock.
or something, The Rock or something. Like I don't know. Like it'd have to be somebody else. Arnold. A little
Hey,
too
what if
old.
there was a team?
Yeah, the
A team of
Expendables.
Terminators.
The Rock, right?
That'd
Everybody
be a
get
good
down.
movie.
Going back to kill baby Hitler. They come back and it's come back and it's worse. It's like worse World War II. And then they have to fight that also. So yeah, man, write this shit down. Yeah. It's like
For geniuses.
all right, I want to do the next one.
Yeah. Shareen, you can do yours next.
Okay. This one I actually got from something that has to do with about the butterfly effect, which is not going to come into play here, but that was interesting. Anyway, anyway. Okay, this is kind of dark, but if your close friend or family member is completely paralyzed from an accident or whatever, wasn't born that way, but it just happened, constantly in pain, and their medical bills are piling up, they're in the millions, they feel like they're a huge burden to their parents, their family, because they can see that they're financially just, they're losing so much money paying for the equipment and all that. They're miserably depressed because they're just stuck. And they beg you to end their life because you're one of their closest friends or family members. They're like, please, all you would have to do is just like cause an overdose or something, like turn up the morphine or something and end it quick. It's the quickest way to end their suffering. But then you think about all the people who would miss that person and how guilty you would feel for the rest of your life. But they're pleading for you to end it. So what choice do you make? And I didn't make that up, but I can't take credit for that.
No.
But
It's a good one.
All right, who do you want to go first, Shareen?
Oh man, that's a hard question. Harder than my question.
Harder than the Hitler question.
Yeah. Okay, ladies first.
Yep.
Ladies first.
Oh, darn. I'm gonna have to say nah. Because even if I'm not going to jail, if you really love me, you want me to go to jail? Like, I'll give you some CBD, but I can't do it. I'm just have to say, oh no. Because I mean, the thing is, I understand like, oh, you're in pain and stuff like that. Like, I will get you drugged up. Like, I can do that. But like, there's the consequences. I might go to jail. People will be upset with me. Like, I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'll go next. I would do it. I'm a firm believer that in that type of situation, I wouldn't want to be like that. And I would probably ask somebody the same thing. To me, like, I would never want to be a vegetable. I mean, I know this person isn't a vegetable, but, I would always tell my loved ones, if I'm in a mental state where I'm not coming back, like, not only the bills, like, who knows what kind of mindset you're in that state? Am I in a mental prison for years? Am I just dreaming? Am I like in between, the astral realm and the real world? Like, I have no idea. Also, I'm a firm believer in if somebody's suffering that bad, unfortunately, it's obviously similar to suicide that, sometimes we naturally, especially when I was younger, we would blame the person who would kill themselves and talk about how they're selfish and not really put ourselves in their shoes to try to understand what they were going through to get to the point where they didn't want to live anymore. Because you have to understand, just as humans, obviously, animals, it's not natural for at any point for you to not want to live anymore. So it just goes to just society in the world we live in that makes us feel that way. And unfortunately, it is normal with the society we live in to not want, for some people to not want to live like this anymore. So to also, on top of that, be paralyzed, not able to move, millions of dollars that I can't even work off, like, yeah, I would unfortunately, I would take care of my family member if they asked me that. And if people found out and my family was mad at me, you know, so be it. The only thing that I wouldn't agree to is, as Elise pointed to, if I went to jail for this, like, I'm sorry, you don't have to suffer because I'm not going to jail for nobody. So that's the last thing I'll say about that. And go ahead and pass it off to C Rock.
X out jail. I think I would. I'm a firm believer in, like, I think people have a right to decide if they want to live or not. Like, 100%. Like, we talked about this in one of my philosophy classes. We were dealt this question, and it was just like, and I brought this up too about, like, about me, I'm an atheist. And I was like, one of the biggest things that I disagree with, like when I was talking to my dad about religion, is this thing about life. None of us chose to be here. It was chosen for us. So for you to hold somebody accountable to, like, oh, well, you were born a sinner and you need to do this or I'm going to punish you. It's like, well, I didn't consent to even be here. Like, somebody else made that decision for me to be here. But I think we have a choice, no matter what it is, if we want to check out. I think sometimes that can be selfish. If right now I was just like, hey, fuck it, I don't want to do this no more, and I shot myself, not thinking about my daughter or something, that's one thing. But when you tack on all that, like JayMan said, you're paralyzed, you can't work off the debt, you're suffering every day in pain. What benefit are you doing this person to keep them alive? It's like, what about quality of life, not just life, So, and there's no way that this person's ever going to heal or get any better, then maybe death is the best option. So I think in those situations, people have a right, and I'm going to end with this. You ever seen that movie, 50 First Dates, about how they say your short-term memory is 24 hours? It's actually not. Your short-term memory is 15 minutes or so. And I remember seeing this video in college to where, like, this dude caught a virus and it stops his brain from converting short-term memories to long-term memories. So basically, like, it scared the shit out of me because he could never move on. He lives in the same, like, moment, and, like, it just resets. It was the scariest thing I ever seen. I remember I just had met my wife and I told her, like, man, if that ever happens to me, just put me out of my misery. I don't want to live like that. You know what I mean? Like, just move on or do something, like so I could feel
terrifying.
That, yeah, it really
is.
You
can't learn or grow or make any, you can't, go from your 20s to your 30s in that mindset.
Yes,
that is scary. Wow, I never heard of anything like that.
Yeah, I could send you guys a video, but, like, if you want to watch, but it scared the shit out of me. But I was like I'm saying, I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube, but, like, I'm just a firm believer that people have the right to choose if they want to live or die. So I don't think we have a right to take that away from them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
great points.
Yeah, all great points. And I would never want to live like that either. I think that'd be just the worst thing. I know, but it is hard. Like, it's hard for me to have, like, a yes or no. I think I'd want to help them, but as far as if I would do it myself, I'm not too sure. I know that I'd probably send them to Canada. Like, let's go to Canada, do the assisted suicide thing. That's controversial, but I don't understand why, if the person is consents to it, they're like, this is what I want to do, and I'm not going to get any better. And, my life is just like, people are going to miss me, but I can't live like this. So I would definitely help them the best I could, hopefully in a legal way. But I wouldn't want to see them suffer. And then I would feel guilty on that. Either way, I think I'd feel guilty, probably more so if I didn't respect their wishes. So, and I don't know if I would have chosen that after hearing all of your opinions. So hopefully we won't have to deal with that.
It's like,
so.
if go ahead, sorry, Billy.
Oh, no. I just wanted to say, she brings up a great point. Like, you're looking for another avenue. Like, I can help you go to a place that it is legal and to help you achieve that. But as far as doing it here where it's not, I go to jail, you die. Like, our families are just out of two people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Great point.
Exactly.
And that was a really good answer, Shareen.
Oh, well, thank you. all great answers. I'm glad that, we could just go on and on. We've got a lot to say. We smart.
We smart.
Sometimes
Did I
I'm the
sound
one.
smart saying
That was amazing.
Sometimes I was about to blow away a baby. Just because somebody told me.
In your defense, it was Hitler. Like, come on.
Yeah.
When you say that, when you say it out loud, it sounds horrible. Like you're like, okay, it's Hitler. Like you about to kill a baby.
No,
when
and
you
now
say
we
it
have
out loud, it sounds bad.
Yeah, but now we have a new screenplay idea. So I think that was awesome. Like someone please I'll submit that for you guys. I know some
Appreciate
people.
that.
So yeah, of course.
Oh.
Of course.
Killing baby Hitler.
I know some people. Yeah. Starring Arnold. Brock Lesnar.
All right, I'll go ahead and go next, unless you want to go next, Elise.
No, you go first.
Okay. All right. So you are the star detective in your precinct. You get information on a serial robber. So this person is going into rich people's homes, holding them at gunpoint, stealing, anything he can, jewelry, money, electronics, anything he can fit into his van. He's had six hits so far. And you get a tip for the seventh one. You go to the house where the robbery is in effect. The guy's literally in his van, taking his stuff away, getting ready to pull off. You're the detective. You pull up, and obviously you have your gun out, getting ready to shoot. And, obviously shoot if you need to. And when you pull the guy over, you see him, he has tears in his eyes. And the first thing he says, he just apologizes, like, I'm sorry, I don't want to be doing this. And you start talking to him, ask him why he's doing this. And you find out that his daughter, she's 5 years old, she has stage 4 cancer, and he's robbing people that are millionaires. One, they're millionaires, and they're CEOs of powerful company that are basically stealing and taking advantage of not only their customers, but their employees as well. So he's saying he's taking his time. He gives you a laptop that shows all the proof that he's only targeting people that are mistreating customers and mistreating employees and robbing them. He tells you this is the last robbery he needs to do. He's going to pay off his daughter's treatment. She needs one more treatment to save her life. And if you please let him go after he makes this payment with everything he just stole, he's going to turn himself in. And with you get the vibe that he's telling the truth, that he is going to turn himself in after he saves his daughter's life. So in this moment as the detective, do you do your job, arrest him and take him to the precinct, knowing that 100% that his daughter's going to die without that last treatment? Or do you let him go and allow him to make the last treatment for his daughter, saving her life? And then, you have all his information, you're going to arrest him after that last payment. And with that, Elise went first twice, so I'm going to pass it to C Rock.
All right, for anybody that knows me, I'm a certified leftist, so I wouldn't arrest him at all. Because one, there's no such thing as an ethical billionaire. So you don't make $1 billion or even $1 million by like your own hard work. You make it by stealing the labor of other people. So this dude's just stealing stolen money as far as I'm concerned. So I let him go and I don't even arrest him at all. That's why I can't crack the case. Sorry. That's my answer. I don't believe anything is universal. Most things, I don't think they're universally wrong. Death being one of them. They're wrong in most cases, but in this case, it's just like, what harm have you done? If I steal $10 million from Elon Musk, what harm have I really done to him? It'd be like somebody stealing a penny from me. It's like, so I'm like, nah, It's in,
Yeah.
you know, to go on, not to get too much more political, but if we live in a system where a dude has to steal to save his daughter, then what kind of fucking system, what kind of just system is that? So, no,
Great
I'm not
point.
arresting that. That motherfucker's a hero as far as I'm concerned. I might start robbing with him as far as I'm concerned.
All right, how are you finding these marks?
Like, yeah, hold on. Like, so theoretically, I wanted to do it. How are you? You know, so that's my answer. Fuck them millionaires. They're billionaires.
Yeah.
All right, what about you, Shareen?
Yeah, I agree with what he said, because if the system is so messed up that, you know, you can't even pay for your daughter's, you can't even pay her medical bills when it's obviously a life-saving treatment that she needs. And then it's so screwed up here that, like, we're afraid to get sick and go to the hospital. Sometimes, you know, we might just say, forget it, because even the ambulance ride is going to put me, you know, in debt. I think he probably went through so many options trying to think of a solution, and he was so desperate that this is what he came up with. And yeah, when you really weigh like what the billionaires are losing versus what his daughter could lose, I would definitely let it go, and I'd try to help him. Like, I'd say, you know, as far as like, should I let him commit this last one? Maybe I'll turn around and like start humming and pretending I didn't hear anything. But I would, from that point on, like, see what kind of connections I had based on my occupation, and just see how we could work together to help her. Because I think if people knew the dire situation, I think there are a lot of good people in the world that we don't focus on. We don't really like shine the light on them. We're always like noticing and highlighting the negative. So I think I would like to think that people would help him in the end, but he absolutely is not going to go to prison because his daughter needs him 100%. So I would never break them up. And so that's my opinion.
Great
Sorry,
answer.
get high pitched all of a
I like
sudden.
that.
All right, it's on you, Ellise.
I'm gonna have to say I would probably knock myself out and be like, oh, he got away. Like, you know, I could when it comes to kids, like I have a soft spot. I can't. And then I have a cousin who's fighting cancer, so I'm like, yo, oh, like, you know,
Yeah.
you know, and then, you know, if he does it again, I'll be like, oh, that's the guy right there. But I can't. When it comes to kids, and I like what C Rock said, if we live in a society where I have to steal to take care of my child, what kind of, you know, and it's not like you're taking a huge amount from somebody who's needy. You're stealing from somebody who, you know, can more. I'm sure a lot of that shit is insured. Like, you know, they'll just get richer. But yeah, that's when it comes to the kids, you gotta take care of them, man, I guess.
Good answer.
And that baby.
Fuck baby and fuck the billionaires too. Oh, I gotta go.
All right.
What about you, JayMan? What you doing?
So I'm not gonna lie, that situation would be really tough for me. There's a lot of variables for me. For example, what's my livelihood in that situation? Because obviously I could potentially get fired for that offense. I could potentially go to jail for that as well. I have to think about my family first. So I'm gonna think stuff like that over. If I knew worst case scenario was I get fired from my job and no jail time, I would have the same answers as you guys. However, if this was my own livelihood and I have to provide for my own family and make sure I can pay, you know, my rent, my mortgage, you know, make sure my family's straight, I'm always 100% going to put my family first. So it really depends on how technical you want to be with it. But if it's as simple as, like I said, worst case scenario is like, oh, you let this guy get away and he turned himself in. They're like, well, you know, you're off the force. Give me your gun and your badge, like in the movies. Then yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. But one thing about me is my livelihood is really all I got. I would fall into a depression if I felt at any point in my life I couldn't provide for myself and my family. So it's a tough one. I'm down the middle. So that's going to be my answer. I don't think anyone can really sway me to either side. It really depends on, like I said, how technical you want to get.
Yeah.
If I can get away with it, of course.
Oh yeah. If I
Yeah.
could 100% get away and keep my job, and like Elise said, oh my God, nigga, knock me out. He fast, like he's strong. Watch out for him. Then hell
I'd be
yeah.
like, punch me as hard as you can, and then just
Yeah.
run.
Yeah, in that situation, yeah. Because, like Chris brought up a great point. We literally live in a world where we cannot get sick. Even if you do have good insurance, if it's way over the top, like you need hundreds of thousands of dollars, we'll pay, I don't know, 20% of it. Like there's a limit on how much they're going to help you. You just need to go get a physical checkup. Yeah, they're going to pay 80, 90%. But once it gets to a certain threshold, none of us really have insurance like that. So it's a fucked up scenario. And if we live in a world where we can't, if we have the cure to cure a 5-year-old with cancer and we elect not to for any reason, like this isn't really a world I want to be in anyway. So
exactly.
Yeah.
The fuck are we doing?
mhm.
They kind of like.
However, sorry, just to change the mood a little bit. Without the healthcare system, we wouldn't have Breaking Bad. So we gotta, thanks fucked up government for Breaking Bad. That story wouldn't make sense if that nigga just, I don't know, cures cancer.
Yeah. I was thinking that the whole time.
Breaking Bad Canada is like one episode. Like Walt feels sick, goes to the doctor, gets the treatment.
Like, God damn, this show is boring.
Roll the credits.
Good job, guys. Good job, team.
Oh, this is gonna be a classic, bro. He went to the doctor and it wasn't a problem.
Oh man, that's great. Crying over here.
So it's back on me.
At least did Elise get one?
No, Elise, no, it is Elise now.
Okay, it's on your Elise.
Oh Lord.
I don't know why I assumed you were last year, man. My bad.
Oh no, you're fine. Shareen went?
Mhm.
Yeah, it was the
paralyzed family member.
Oh, yeah, you were. Oh man. So mine is, if you had the chance to abolish the death penalty, would you? And
yes.
And keep in mind, like, we pay for people on death row, we're paying for all kinds of stuff. We're paying for their health care. We're paying for I hate to say this, like for example, there's a man who is on death row and we're paying for his transition. So he's transitioning from a male to a female. That's what we're paying for, our tax dollars. We pay for their food. We pay for a lot of their extracurriculars because they're in that cell all day. So they have TV, all kinds of stuff. But then you also have to see the other side of it. There have been people who have been executed and later on found to have been innocent. C Rock, do you still feel the same?
Yes. I'm 100% anti-death penalty. I don't feel the state should have the power to execute anybody or take anybody's life, because once you give them that power, then they start finding reasons to use it a little too much. Like with our legal system, just like you pointed out, essentially our legal system boils down to we get 12 randos together and decide whose story they like better. And they decide whose story they like better. It's never really like, that this person did it. Like people who say that about OJ, like, I know he's guilty. Like, bitch, were you there? You were there, you seen it. So like, you don't know he did anything. You think he did it.
I know the DNA.
We know. That's a different episode. No, but like,
yeah, that's a different.
but like, DNA makes it a little bit more, but we never know for sure. And a lot of times there isn't DNA. Like DNA is a new thing. That just started in the 90s. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I mean, like a lot of times it was just like, and it's really flimsy on a lot of things, like to where people get convicted. So it's just like, without that knowing for sure, I'd rather just pay for, they did horrible things, but they're still a person. You know what I mean? And people change, people grow. Very few people are monsters like that. So it's just, you know, I don't. I just don't really believe in it for philosophical reasons. I'm not saying we should get off. We should let people get off scot free, but I mean, just I'm okay with my tax money paying for them to live, you know, and them being, you know, separated from society like that. You know what I mean?
So there's a point. There's a follow-up question after this. What if that person was accused of killing somebody close to you?
I would think I would answer that question. I would hope I'd answer it the same, but I'm human and I'm flawed. So I don't know. Like if I wanted that person dead, like this math we talked about this in the last episode about racism, I'd probably do it myself. But ultimately, like if I did, like we talked about Trayvon Martin, and like I was like, yeah, I would have probably handled my business with George Zimmerman by now. But at the same time, I wouldn't defend myself. I would still say I'm a murderer. That would still be unjustified. So I wouldn't rely on the state for that. So I still think I'll hold the same point of view. Like I don't think we should have. I think we should abolish the death penalty. You know, are we any better if we just kill him too? What gives us the right to take that person's life? You know, what gives us the right that they deserve to die? That's the question we have to answer ourselves. Like if somebody does something horrible, what gives us the right to take his life? You know,
Feel that. And then just to interject really quickly, something that didn't really come to me, and sorry, this is going to be a little bit of a tangent. This is something that didn't really occur to me until after we had our last episode, C Rock, because that was like a really powerful message on how you basically said that if you're a Trayvon Martin's dad and, you know, he killed your son like that, the last thing George Zimmerman would have saw was your ugly mug and the shotgun in his face. And there's something that
It's not
really
too
occurred
late.
to me.
And
I don't and I don't know Trayvon, obviously I don't know Trayvon Martin's dad or his family. And there's something that I'm not sure if you thought of, because obviously that's what any normal person would think about and want to do, and, you know, go get, you know, the government's not going to give me justice, you know, I'm gonna go get justice myself. But did you look at the other side? You know, look at your daughter would have lost a brother and now she would have lost her dad. Look at your wife lost a son, now she would have lost her husband. Not only that, the rest of their lives, you know, they're going to have your last name. They're going to, you know, daughter goes to college, they're going to see that last name. And it's going to be a circus either way. There's going to be people coming up to her, your dad's a hero, he's a martyr, like what he did was great. And then you're going to have the white people, oh my God, her dad's a thug and this and that. And it's going to be a circus either way. Same with your wife. She tries to get a new job. They're going to see that last name. And it might get so bad with your family to where maybe, you know, when your daughter sees your mom, it reminds her too much of you and her brother that she lost. And maybe their relationship, you know, kind of goes to hell in a sense. And then, so just asking you, you know, given this other perspective of how your family's dealing with this, would you still go ahead and go seek revenge yourself, knowing you're going to either be killed or spend, you know, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, the rest of your life in jail? Would you think you would still do that looking at their perspective?
I would hope if I did, if they were put in that position, I would hope my daughter would understand. And I only say that is because, yeah, there's going to be negative. It's a lose-lose situation. There's going to be negative consequences either way. But sometimes I feel like if we don't take a stand, it's always going to happen. You know, maybe the next George Zimmerman would think twice because, like, or the next cop would think twice, you know, because there's no repercussions for it. Now, you know, like I said, I'm not advocating anybody do anything, but on some level, it's like, when do you say enough's enough? You know, and I'm just speaking as an individual right here. I'm not saying like, you know, like when I think about the history up until this point, we've just been through enough with the dominant society. And I just, when do you say, forget it, you know? Like,
I feel you. And then another
like,
point that I was going to bring up as well is you're 100% right. You could be into being a martyr and being the start of a new movement that really changed the direction of the country. I mean, that's absolutely possible with, you know, your actions in that situation. But, you know, I just had
this,
to know if you're like looking at
yeah.
both sides. And so you're
And
saying
maybe
that
I
you
don't,
would.
you're right. Maybe I don't, because you're right. I never really thought about that aspect. I always just assumed Olivia would understand. I always just assumed my wife would understand. I've talked to her. I've had this conversation with her, and I've talked to her about it. But and like I told her flat out, like I told you, like, hey man, that scares me because I'm not gonna die in my. If something happens to my son, I'm not gonna die warm in my bed as an old man.
Mhm.
Like I'm dying with some cold hard steel in my hand or a cold hard needle in my arm. Like period. I can't. There's some things that are worse than death, and sometimes cowardice is worse than death. And like you know,
Yeah,
One thing that
I don't disagree.
it's kind of crazy because you bring up the fact that like, oh, if somebody does something to my child, I'm not gonna die as an old man. And that's crazy to me that you have that fear, like I'm gonna just have to go to prison, this and that. But if you look back, somebody ran over John Gotti's son. You guys know who John Gotti is?
yeah,
No.
Oh, one of the most badass mobsters of all time. Like, and
Hmm.
this was in the late 80s, but somebody ran over his son, and obviously he killed the guy, but he was walking the streets like nothing afterwards. So I think that's another thing, like what is it? Rules for thee, but not for me, or something like that. So
Hmm.
I just think that's crazy because obviously, like he got his revenge, but nothing happened to him. So that's crazy to me that we have this fear, like if I avenge my child, I gotta go to hell. And that shouldn't be a thing. I mean,
any other
okay,
That's a
no,
animal,
great
murder's
point.
not okay. Murder's
any
not
other
okay,
animal
but
would do the same thing. Any other animal would do the same thing. What would happen if you ran up into a wolf's den and started killing wolf cubs? They'd come at you full fucking speed. No,
Mhm.
no thought. You know, I'm not asking like anything, but to sort of be left alone. Like that's sort of what most black people are just asking. That's
Hmm.
what Trayvon Martin asked George Zimmerman. Why are you following me? That was the last thing anybody heard him say was the girl on the phone. Hey, why are you following me? Like that breaks my fucking heart to think about
Yeah.
that shit. Like this kid's just walking home talking to a girl. And this dude says, hey, and he has this fucking weirdo following him. He does everything that you tell your kid to do. Switch directions, run, do all this shit. The dude chased him down and fucking killed him. Has the nerve to sign Skittles. That makes my fucking blood boil. It's like, fuck that, man. Some things like if I have to live with that, that's worse than death, homie. Like, and if I have to, you know, some people believe in heaven or hell, dude. Like, if I have to endure that to get into a heaven, then hell is the place for me, homie. Cause I
I
ain't
respect
fucking,
that.
I
I don't
ain't
think
doing
you would
that
go to
shit.
hell for that. Because if you really look at the
Like,
Bible, it says an eye for an eye.
yeah, you
So
know, like,
even if it's not,
and
you're
I
not
hate to have,
religious, yeah.
and I hate to have those thoughts, but like, and that's just something I think 20 years ago I wouldn't have even had thought of, or like, but so much has happened since then, since Obama got elected. Like, so much has happened to change the way, like goddamn, you know, like how I see things. That it's just like I don't want to think that way. I don't want to even think about doing that. That that makes me feel uncomfortable. Like I don't
Hmm.
Mm.
like I say it jokingly, like, oh yeah, my shotgun, my ugly mug would be the last thing I do. But it makes me uncomfortable to even say that. Like that's why I say it jokingly, but like, dude, like I'm not fucking playing. Nor would I expect anybody else to be playing. You know, like what like I don't know. Like I don't know. Like I said, bro,
No, you
like
good.
what
I just it's funny
no,
because like
it just
I just had an
go ahead.
epiphany. So like I said,
Yeah.
I had to I was gonna ask you that on like last night when we were playing video games, I was like, no, I was like, I'll see if it randomly comes up later on a podcast. And what do you know, the very next episode ended up linking to that. But I'm not disagreeing with you in any way or shape or form. Just
like I said, I do got to think about like Olivia, but I hope she understands that Daddy would do anything to protect her. If that's to protect her feelings.
But then, in a sense, like you're gonna be gone. You can't protect your wife or your daughter anymore.
Yeah, but
I understand. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just had to bring that up to understand. But
there's that part of it,
but my bad. We kind of got way off here, so we can go ahead and get back to Elise's question. No, that was my fault. Like I said, I'm gonna go on a tangent, and I wasn't gonna cut your answer off because you had to, you dig deep for that. So it's no problem at all. So Shareen, do you remember Elise's question? Do you have your answer?
I remember it, but I want to know exactly how did you word it? Did you say, would you support, like, could you just repeat it? Because I want to know how you worded it so I answer correctly.
I said, see, this is like a one time, like it would have been like, I wish I would have asked it individually, but like, would you, if you could, would you abolish the death penalty altogether? And then based on that question, what if the accused was accused of hurting somebody in your family, killing somebody you love?
Yeah. Okay. So, sometimes I watch like court TV and I watch a lot of like body cam footage. I don't know. It just comes up on YouTube randomly. So now I'm getting all the suggestions. Yeah. So, there was one that I remember where it was absolutely without a shadow of a doubt. This woman, killed her 3 kids. And she was she admitted it in court. She was saying, I did this. Obviously she had a lot of issues, mental issues and all of that. But she was kind of justifying it, saying, her 4th child was being bullied by the 3 others. And so she just killed them. And when it comes to that, I'm sorry, but I don't care if I'm not the one who's in there in the scenario that I'm imagining in my head, but I don't want to pay for you to, live on and whatever I need, whatever treatment you need in jail, or like, I'm not really worried about that. I'm thinking more about the crime that you committed. If it's kind of up in the air and it's like a gray area, like I think this person did it, but we don't really have concrete evidence, then that's where it gets a little more complicated. And I wouldn't just say like, yeah, go for it, whatever. But if I'm not going to be actively fighting against it, I don't feel like that's where my passion lies. And I hope that's not a heartless thing to say, but I just am looking on the other side where it's like, yeah, if it was someone close to me or not, but especially like what you were saying with children, like it just infuriates me. And that's not what I'm going to spend my time fighting for, even though there may be some people who don't deserve it and they're going down that path. They're on death row. And it's like, I wish we would know how to weed them out. So these things don't happen. But I think, I think that anger, I haven't had that experience. I don't know what it's like to have someone close to me be, let's say, murdered or something. So I don't know how strong those emotions would be. I'm sure very strong. And then you would kind of just be like, I don't care, like, let's go. But yeah, to not make it too long of a story, I would not fight against it. I will let them handle it. The justice system, not that it's not corrupt and not that I trust them, but it's just not going to be my fight. Let's put it that way.
It's a great answer.
Yep.
Thank you.
A great answer.
Thank you.
And sometimes I'm a little hypocritical about it because what was that one with the little boy? It happened in, I guess he lived in Palmdale or something, and the little boy, they're letting his teeth rot, and then they, basically the boyfriend. Yeah. Part of me is just like, if they killed her and her boyfriend,
Yeah.
Virtual gets definitely.
I'm definitely for the blind guy.
Right.
We gonna let this one slide. So I get what you're saying. So yeah. What about you, JayMan?
All right. So yeah, abolish is too strong of a word for me. I'd be 100% okay if they were more, I guess lenient isn't the right word, but more careful on who they do put on death row. Because there's absolutely so many evil people in this world. And like Chris said, if you really break it down, there's not a lot of real like evil monsters. It's really people that have mental health issues, terrible childhoods, upbringings, like they're kind of passing on what they learned. You know, it's not all 100% there. I'm not going to say these people don't deserve what they're getting, but there are monsters out there. So to say that we have to sit there and give healthcare, give food, water to these monsters that if they broke out, the first thing would do is murder the first person they see and laugh in their face about it, you know, show up to the funeral and laugh at the people mourning, you know, really crazy motherfuckers like that. Yeah, they don't need to be here on earth. So I wouldn't say abolish, but I'd be perfectly okay if, you know, they make them more stricter, take their time more and make sure like the evidence is precise and as possible to make sure we are sending, you know, the right people getting the needle in their arm, because this world is way too evil. I think more people should get the needle, to be honest. Anyone in part of human trafficking, you know, kidnapping these kids and stuff like that. Anybody, if you're just a driver, I don't care who you are, I think you need the needle. So there's a lot of people I think need the needle. And if that means, you know, unfortunately, some people got to get it, you know, like, I'm sorry, but no, I couldn't abolish it.
Yeah.
I understand.
I think everybody in the group is just so, when it comes to kids, they're just triggered, like,
Mhm.
you know. Yeah.
I can't stand anybody that hurts children in any ways. They're so innocent. They don't know anything. And when they're a young age, what you tell them is their reality. So you could tell a 5 or 6 year old whatever you want. They're going to believe it until, you know, they're a teenager, or even some people to adulthood, you know, they don't really, well, my mom said all these terrible, wrong things about me, and I'm not any of that. So, and that's just parenting, you know. We're talking about sex trafficking, like, hell no, like those people, deserve, actually, they deserve worse than the needle. They should be tortured, and that should be put on the internet so everybody could see it too.
Yeah, actually, sad to say, I agree with that, because I think it would deter more people from doing these things if the punishment was harsher. It's like, you know, I'm not saying if you steal, chop their hand off, but that's kind of like, if I knew that my hand was going to get chopped off, I'm going to put the candy bar back, you know, probably. People in their right mind, but which if you're doing that to children, you're not in your right mind.
You know,
but yeah,
you know, actually research shows that punishment or severity of punishment doesn't actually persuade people from committing crime. It's actually likelihood that they feel like they're going to get caught, no matter how severe the punishment is. So, like you said, like we feel like, oh well, if I felt like somebody's going to get their hand chopped off for stealing a candy bar, you know, oh, I wouldn't do it. And it's just like, actually, not the reality is, you know, people are still going to do it if they feel like they can get away with it. So the death penalty actually doesn't defer anything. It's more of just like a revenge thing that sort of like society wants. You know what I mean? And we guise it in the way of like, oh no, well, see, it'll prevent more crime if we did this, but it actually wouldn't. If just somebody thinks they can get away with killing you, they're gonna do it. You know, no matter how severe the punishment is. If somebody thinks they can get away with shoplifting, they're gonna do it. You know, so there's other things that actually deter crime much better than punishment, but we as a society, especially America, just refuse to do it because of that. We get some sort of I guess cathartic feeling from seeing somebody get punished for something who we feel is wrong. You know what I mean? Just like with abortion, there's things that bring down abortion rates, but we refuse to do it because we don't want to actually save children. We want women to be punished for acting out sexually that we feel as a society they shouldn't, you know? So, like, that's just something we sort of like, so what, you know, well, I guess my point was it's something that, like what Shareen said, it's actually just something we kind of want to see. I'm not sure if that like that's per se wrong, but it wouldn't really help. We could stop sex trafficking quite easily You know, if you look at who's doing it, you know, like the drug cartels and all that, they're the ones doing it. You can easily, if you made drugs legal tomorrow, you cut off their funding and they couldn't do it. You know,
Yeah.
so we could easily
And
do
then
it.
actually,
But
our governor, he had the opportunity to impose harsher sentences for human trafficking. This was a couple weeks ago, and he decided not to do it. He
That's
decided not to
terrible.
do it.
Yeah.
And
because you make them, and in turn you make them more desperate. Like sort of, I hate to quote a movie, but in The Dark Knight, you said the same thing. Like you pulled their card and they went to the Joker because you cracked down on them and you made them more desperate and they go do worse shit. You know, so we're gonna go. You're actually gonna push them further in the other direction instead of pushing them back to where you want to go. So it's just sort of like something we as human beings, I don't think we're ready to like. We don't think we've evolved to that point to get to that point to saying, hey, we're not gonna stop. Like, you know, we're not gonna stop what we want to stop by punishing people. We just can't move past that, especially America. We want to punish we want to punish everybody for everybody. Like, look at now that abortion became illegal, they're throwing women in jail. It's already happening for having abortions. Like, we don't give a shit about children. We don't. These states have done nothing to make things better for children. They've just done everything to punish people for having abortion. You know, so we just won't move past that. So I just think, you know, if you just get nothing from what I'm saying right now, just like maybe we should think about our sort of motivation when we want to see people get, you know, like tortured and shit like that. Like, what is that doing for the victim of the crime? It's kind of doing nothing, you know. It's doing more for us, you know, to see, oh, this person, you know, makes us feel better. So I just think it's something we gotta like sort of evolve to. And it's hard to get to that point because we don't want to have compassion for certain people, you know. Like when you talk about pedophilia, like not to get too much into a tangent, we're talking about pedophilia. What research is starting to show too, that is that it might be a mental illness like schizophrenia.
Oh, for sure. And I feel like I feel like there definitely needs to be more resources, but those people they have to be punished and rehabilitated. But they need to be off the streets. They need to be isolated for sure.
But the biggest issue too is that we gotta like, you know, and I don't even bring this up because people always make you feel like a fucking weirdo. But like, what happens before they've done anything? Like how we said the baby Hitler thing. What if your family member came and said, "Hey man, I just been feeling this shit that I'm attracted to fucking little kids." You're gonna be like, "You fucking weirdo." You know, like, and you're not gonna do anything, but he might just be mentally ill. But then we're just like child predator. Like, but he hasn't done anything. He could become a child predator, but he hasn't. You know what I mean? So we're just not at the point as a society to where we're ready to look sympathetically towards people who have that. You know, even though it might be a mental, though it might be a mental illness like schizophrenia, like you can treat them like you treat somebody with schizophrenia, but because that person can potentially harm children or something like that, we don't want to look sympathetic towards anybody who we deemed a criminal, so or deemed deviant. So like that's why I'm saying, like, we just haven't gotten to that point to where we're ready to look at it like that. We just want, oh no, give them a death penalty. But when it's just like, damn, what if somebody you wouldn't say that for somebody who's schizophrenic, you know, like if they harmed anybody else, you would look at them like, oh no, but now because they're a pedophile and they might have a mental illness, we're ready to kill them. So it's like, you know,
do you feel like there should be readily available mental health for people like that? Like, I feel like somebody who's experiencing those symptoms should have the ability to walk into a mental facility and say, hey, I'm experiencing XYZ. And from there, you can get the treatment that, I'm not even the treatment, but you're putting forth effort to be better. And if you still commit a crime as if you had schizophrenia, you're still accountable for that crime. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, like I feel like it takes a lot of balls for somebody to be like, you know what, I'm feeling like I'm attracted to kids. Let me go get some help so I don't hurt anybody, as opposed to just get it out hurting other people. I feel like that would be a greater thing. And then if you do hurt kids and because mental illness isn't an excuse. You know, it's a reasoning, and it's, you know, yeah, it's where the problem starts.
That's a great point, Elise.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that at least for me, I'm sure there are people who do feel this way, but I don't get enjoyment out of seeing people being punished. It's more, I think, what Elise said, where the person is behind bars, and or maybe Jay said it, but it's like, especially if I'm a victim of a crime, I don't want to fear that this person's going to be released someday and come after me. Yeah. Or if there's like, so I think it's really just trying to think sympathetically from the victims or their families. Just like, I want this person locked up in a way with no chance of ever escaping, depending on the severity of the crime. And then, it is very complicated with with the pedophile, for instance. Like, if they are admitting that they have a problem and they want to get help, and that is a great step. But do I want them wandering around while they're trying to sort that out? Yeah. Like, I would want them in treatment because, you know, if they're having these feelings and they're hanging around a school, and it's like, if you have an addiction or something and then you slip up, that slip up could ruin someone's life. Yeah. So I'm not saying like give them the death penalty now because they have these thoughts. We do need to get to the root of the problem, because it's just going to keep happening over and over. And mental illness is such a beast, like, where do you even start with that? I mean, but I feel like we are moving in the right direction. Hopefully, I want to believe that. So, we'll see. There's more conversation about it.
Yeah, I wasn't like bringing it up to like defend like anything. It was just more of just to point out, like, sometimes when we speak about punishment, it's not per se for the victim like we claim it is. It's more and I know this because, like I said, it's one of the things I studied in school. It's more for us, and not like we really care. Just like people, like, you know, I guess a shorter way to say it, just like a lot of people claim they care about abortion. They don't care about like children. They care about punishing women. You know, like, like I had a friend, I was talking to him about abortion. He was just like, well, if she didn't want to get pregnant, she should have been out fucking everybody. It's like, hold on, what if she did? What do you mean fucking everybody? Like, she was out hoeing around and got pregnant. Like, what if she just had sex one time and got pregnant? Like, you know, like, it's just like,
even if she was hoeing around, who the fuck cares? What difference does it make?
Yeah, so it's more his the way he was explaining it more, it was like, dude, you don't give a shit about children. You care about punishing women because they're out fucking everybody. And you're not in the everybody category, so you're mad about it. You know, so there's a lot of this where we say, hey, you know, it's for the victim. It kind of isn't. It's for us, which isn't per se bad, but we at least have to admit that before we can move forward. You know, like you can't solve anything or deal with it till you admit it, that that's what you're feeling or that's what we're doing as a group. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I don't feel that way.
That was my point.
Okay, I feel maybe a lot of people do feel that way, but I don't. I feel like I'm a very empathetic person, and just when I'm reading these or watching these cases, I feel scared for the victim, and then just putting myself in their place. But maybe that's just me. I agree that a lot of people do kind of feel like that sense of, I don't know if it's like justice, like, yeah, we got him or whatever. But personally, I'm only speaking for myself. I don't feel that way. Like I'm not following the cases and trying to, you know, see what happens to the criminals. I feel like, like I do have that fear because I hear these scenarios that go on, and I'm just like, put them somewhere else, because that could be, you know, that could be anybody. They could, you know, I don't want them walking around. So I'm only speaking for myself, you know.
Yeah.
No, you're speaking for a lot of people.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah, if you thought your way through it and you know whatever, then that's a good thing, because now you're you know what your thoughts, you know what your feelings are. But I just bring it up for more of like, more people need to really rethink why we feel things and why, because we can quickly get out of control with, you know, feeling justified in certain things, and then it can go and become problematic, you know, really quite easily. But as long as we've really like thought about this, like most things, then, you know, it should be all right. You know, I'm not like speaking towards like how you personally feeling. I like I said, I study sociology, so I speak for like towards like groups. Like, that's how I think, you know, like, so I was just speaking as more of a group, not as, you know, to you individually or saying that you're lying or anything. It was just more of like you know, just going with the research that I've seen, you know.
For sure.
You know, so now
it is reserved for people who sorry.
Okay.
I just wanted to part the death penalty. It is only like reserved for people who commit, I believe, is it called? Oh my God.
Premeditated murder.
Premeditated
Murder
murder. But what are they?
Murder one.
Murder one. Yeah.
First
murder
degree?
one. First degree thing. Jesus, my brain is just out of first degree murder. And then secondly, I just wish it was up to the victim's family's discretion. Like they don't lose in death penalty.
That would be justice.
That's a great idea and a great point. I fuck
Yeah,
with
that's a
that.
good point. Yeah.
That would be justice. Yeah, like that really is a good idea. Just have them decide it, you know? And
Yeah.
Mhm. And then we kind of got really off topic there, which is fine because there's some great conversations. Do you guys still want to go through another round of morality questions? Is everyone good or?
I'd have to check my phone battery to be honest, but
that's why I
You
switched
can
headphones.
you can
I'm
tap the
charging mine.
screen. I
Yeah.
think it'll pop up for you.
I have to yeah, because I have 10%. It just popped up with that scary sound that goes ding ding ding, like, oh shoot, that's scary. Yeah, I would rather use my laptop, but where I live, like it might go in and out the service. I live in the sticks, but let me see. Yeah, so I can put it on a charger and let you guys converse, and I'll just stand over there while I'm charging it. But
No, we can't.
I'll be
we
listening.
go together, or we all go together, or we don't go at all.
Well, how about
That's how
this?
the
You
show
can do your morality question first, and then we'll go over that. And then, like, if you need to charge your phone after that, we can
Then I won't
maybe
be
do
okay.
a couple more.
It's interesting how a lot of these scenarios kind of like crisscross because
Mhm.
yeah, I had some on here that I'm like, oh, we kind of went over that. So yeah, like I had one about committing a crime. Someone else gets like your friend commits a crime and then someone else gets the blame for it. What do you do? But I'm not even going to go with that because we kind of discussed that.
Mhm.
So how about this one? Okay. You have worked years to be successful in your father's business. You felt you were obligated to take over as he worked his whole life to build the business left to him by his father. However, the large businesses in town have seriously cut into profits, and for several years, you and your family have just managed to scrape by. Your father's health has declined and he's now hospitalized. He has a substantial life insurance policy that expires at midnight. If he dies before midnight, you will inherit enough money to pursue a career you've always dreamed of and provide for your family for the rest of your life. Do you pinch the oxygen line, making it possible for your dad to die, or smother him with a pillow? I didn't write this. Tell your dad the problem and let him suggest a solution and go by whatever he decides. Or do nothing, as you can't imagine ending your own dad's life. So made it easy because I have three. I know.
I guess I'll go first because I'm gonna be kind of quick. I would not kill my dad over that situation. Obviously, that's something that he had, obviously, to take care of the family. Obviously, in an emergency, not for me to murder him and get a bunch of money. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night earning money that way, especially it's my own father. That's just simply not the right way to get money. And it's kind of crazy because obviously his grandfather kind of left him with the company. So it sounds like his dad didn't really have to work the hour for what he had anyways, but still, it's still not something that I could ever do is murder somebody for money, especially my own father. So my answer is no.
Okay. Kind of, yeah, maybe an easy one.
All right, you know what? And I got this representation here. I got the pillow. So what I'm doing is I'm like, Dad, you live long enough, Dad. You live long enough, Dad. I need this insurance money. Nah, damn it. Nah, yeah, I'm 100% with JayMan. There's like, fuck, dude. Like, especially if your pops didn't want to die or nothing, like, it's just like that's murder. Like, flat out. Like, and I'm like, I ain't murdering my pops. Like, yeah, I just have to figure something out. Whatever, money ain't everything.
Yeah.
So I could. That's fucked up.
That is fucked up.
That is-
There's people who would and probably have done that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like
the Menendez brothers.
yeah. I remember, yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
got
yeah.
with the Menendez brothers. Audience, if y'all haven't heard about that, but yeah, like so. Yeah, that's fucked up. Nah, I can't do it.
I don't have a lot in
in
this world, but I have my dad, so I love my dad. I'm such a daddy's girl, so I ain't doing nothing to my dad.
I've met him too. He's a really, really good man, really nice man.
Thank you. He's so
Wait.
jolly.
Mhm.
Have I met do I know her dad?
Um,
Probably.
What's your brother's name?
Ryan?
See, I know Ryan with an O.
Yeah, with an O.
yeah. Yeah. I was thinking that this whole
Ryan?
time.
Ryan. I used to call him that.
Ryan.
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 Yeah, that is so cool. Oh my gosh. I was wondering that the whole time when I saw your last name. What?
I forgot you knew Ryan.
Yeah,
Oh, you know
yeah.
Ryan?
Yes, my feet were hurting one time and he gave me a
Do I
piggyback
know
ride across
Ryan?
the street. But yeah,
Have I met Ryan?
I don't know.
You have
Sure.
Should have.
This was later when I met him. It wasn't
Which
like the
Ryan?
early days.
I
What you
hear
mean,
that I
which
look like
Ryan?
him, but I don't think so.
Ryan who?
Roger.
They have the same last name.
I didn't want to say it
Ryan
'cause-
Rogers. I do know Ryan Rogers. See, we have to blank that out. But I do know Ryan.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I
you
mean,
were
they
right.
can easily put two and two together.
Mhm.
Ryan.
I don't look like him, so it's totally possible.
Nah, you don't.
Mhm.
I don't
You're a
think
lot
she
prettier than
does.
Ryan. You're a lot prettier than Ryan. I done seen Ryan in a wig.
Oh, thank you.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I see what we were doing while he had a wig. I'm just kidding. Like,
Right? I'm thinking, why do you have a wig on?
All right. So real
Mhm.
quick before Shereen's phone goes out, did you want to give your answer, Shereen? What
Yeah,
you do
you
to
know,
your dad?
It's funny because I was working when I was like, I need another one. So I just copied this from a website. I don't feel I'm sorry. I don't feel the same way about my dad as others might. So it wouldn't be the worst loss in the world, but I am not a murderer. I'm sorry to say that. He's not going to watch this. But there is an option. Like sometimes I'm in the middle and I'm like, let me see. I would never kill anyone for money. Like never in a million years. I wouldn't be able to live with myself, you know? And I don't even have the kids. Like, I think it would be a harder decision if you felt like your kids were suffering and you needed money and you were so desperate, even going back to like robbing the houses. But, you know, I'd go and rob a millionaire before I'd kill. But it does say that he is like on his deathbed, like his health has declined. I'd probably talk to him about it and say, here's the issue. Could you speed it up a little bit? Like, but
Could
I'm
you
not
just
gonna
die
do it.
faster, Dad?
yeah, die faster. Like he thinks he's gonna be reincarnated anyway. Like he's a Scientologist, so he won't care. He's gonna be reincarnated as a king
dinosaur?
or as a dinosaur. Like he'll probably make it something like the king of I don't know, Nigeria.
how long you want to live, Dad?
Yeah, he's on. Yeah, exactly.
Don't you want to be the king now? You want to be the king now?
right. That crown is calling to you. Yeah. So my situation
Let me
is
help
weird.
you with that.
Yeah. I have a very strange family, but no, I will not kill him. I've decided he can live. He can live
For another few days.
All right,
Yeah,
quick
exactly.
question, Shereen. Can you
Yes.
check your battery real quick? I wonder how
Yes.
fast it's draining.
Okay, it said 10%. I'm going to mute it so it's not going to make a bunch of noise and then have me on the screen.
Mm-hmm. Stand by, whoever's watching or listening. We're checking out how much time we got left.
Sorry, it's technology. I'm a millennial, like we were talking about earlier. I have 6%.
Okay, yeah, we need to get you off then.
That last 1% does last for like a long time. It's on 1%, and then you start panicking. You're like, somebody, please, I need a charger. Or because you know when
do you want to
British.
try your
You turn
laptop
British when
for
you
like
panic,
for like a little bit while you charge your
You
phone?
can just switch over.
Yeah, I can. Oh, I can just switch over. I just like click the
Go
link
to
or
Zoom
something.
go to Zoom on your thing,
Mhm.
on your laptop, and then it's gonna say that you're in a meeting. And then once you click on that part that says you're in a meeting, it asks you if you want to switch over.
Oh, okay. So just you guys carry on. I gotta go grab my power cord for the laptop, but I will return. I can hear you too, so
Okay.
I just have to run
Chime
upstairs.
in. Yes, I will chime in from upstairs. I'll be right back.
All right. So I'll go next because mine is kind of a 50-50 one. This is kind of one where there is no right or wrong answer. So this one's kind of different from what we've been doing. All right. So in this scenario, you're the detective, the same detective that you guys let the parent get away. It doesn't change the story either way, but it's just to make things a little bit more fun. You're that same detective, superstar detective, and there's a serial killer on the loose. On the loose, god damn, I'm talking like a nigga. My apologies, everybody. On the loose.
On the loose.
Oh, I hate
slang word.
myself.
That's the slang word for being on the block. On the loose.
We out here on the loose, nigga. All right, so there is a serial killer on the loose. And he is, okay, now I got to say it the right way because it gets serious after this. All right, there's a serial killer on the loose. He's out here killing pregnant women. He's killed 6 pregnant women over the last 9 months. And you guys have no leads, nothing to go on. There's no pattern in how he's choosing these women, how he's finding them. And then you get a call from somebody that you had put away for sex trafficking, murdering, and sexually assaulting children. Over 100 children are a victim of this man. He gives you a call and he tells you that he knows who the serial killer is and he knows who the next victim is going to be. So you go down to jail or the prison, whatever, and he asks to be put in a room secluded from all the other inmates so no one knows he's a snitch. He's there with his lawyer and he says, sign this paper that says I get full immunity and I will tell you the name of the next victim and who the killer is. So as the detective, do you take this deal? And stipulation, the deal, if he gives you incorrect information, he does not get his immunity. The deal is that you catch the killer and you save his next victim. So if this doesn't happen, then he stays in jail. But if it does happen and you sign this, he gets immunity. So you stop this serial killer from killing his next pregnant victim, but you have to let this guy who's a sex trafficker, sexually assaulted, killed over 100 children. Do you let this guy go scot-free, full immunity, to get the serial killer who's killing pregnant women? Or do you leave this guy in jail and you use this as a, kind of a lead in a sense that now at least you know that this person in jail has some type of connection to this serial killer outside. So what would you do, C Rock?
I mean, now that you guys brought up the whole butterfly effect thing, it's like, what if you let that sex trafficker go and he could go back to doing what he was doing, and then
It's a possibility.
100 other women get hurt. But life, you always can't. You got to deal with what you know, and not, sometimes, and not what could happen per se. But no, I wouldn't take the deal.
Okay.
I wouldn't. No, I would just be like, I would work that person in jail and figure out how he knows. But then hopefully that'll pan out and you get both of them in jail. And they can share a cell.
But that's not you can't guarantee that. And at the same time, it's probably not going to be in time to save the next victim. So if you do choose no deal, it's basically a guarantee that the next victim will be killed that night.
True. But, on some level, like, I hate the way this sounds, but failure to act isn't really causation of in certain instances. You know what I mean? So if you fail to do something, the action still falls onto the person who did it. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, you're letting off this person, you're letting off another potential danger. And I don't know, dude, like, damn, this is a hard one. It's harder than I thought. Like,
Yeah, this is one where there's no right or wrong answer. It's just choosing the
But it
lesser
could
of
have-
two evils to you.
it could have a bigger catastrophic effect. It reminds me of an episode of Star Trek I watched. You know what I mean? But they had that. I'm a big Star Trek fan. I've watched literally of the four main series, meaning Deep Space Nine, the original series, TNG, and Voyager. I watched every episode of those four. And they have this thing called a prime directive to where like they don't interact, or like they only interact with species who have reached a certain technology level, because you never know how interacting with lesser species will have a greater effect. So in this one, it's like, do you acting have a worse effect than you not acting sometimes? And sometimes it's not your choice to make, to implement yourself into it. You know what I mean? Like, was it, like you said, like, to saving this person could cause hundreds of other women to get harmed that wouldn't have gotten harmed, and you failing to act will definitely cause this one person to harm. So, or the one pregnant woman. So you just kind of gotta stay out of that situation and use your methodology that you have to solve the case.
Okay.
I'm
mad at that. Can you hear us, Shareen?
Yes, I can hear you. And on here, there's two Shareens.
Yeah.
Can I leave the other one, or should I just leave it? I should just leave it on just in case.
Okay.
Yeah. I can hear you guys. I'm very sorry about that.
No worries.
No, you're
Chris
fine.
just finished his answer. So you heard my question?
I did not hear your question.
Okay. So I'll try to do the shortened version.
Yeah.
So you're the same detective from my last story,
Okay.
superstar detective. There's a serial killer out on the loose.
On the
inside
loose.
joke. Inside joke.
Okay,
you
I was
missed.
like, I'm not going to call him out.
Out on the
All
loose.
right, the loose.
There's a serial killer out on the loose, and he's out killing pregnant women. He's killed 6 in the last 9 months.
Oh.
You get a call from somebody you put in jail like years ago. This guy has sex trafficked, murdered, and over 100 children. And he basically tells you he knows who the next victim is. The next victim will be dying tonight. And he'll tell you who the serial killer is and who the victim is if he gets full immunity, meaning obviously he's going to be out of jail. So do you sign the immunity? Oh, and just stipulation, the immunity only counts if his information is correct. So you catch the serial killer and you save the victim that's going to be killed tonight. So if he gives you a bunch of bullshit, obviously he stays in jail. So do you sign the immunity paper letting this, sex trafficker go free and you're saving a pregnant woman? Or do you not take the deal and just kind of use it as a lead? Like, okay, I know there's some type of affiliation with the killer and this guy, or he could still be full of shit. So there might not be an affiliation between the two. But
Okay.
so would you sign the immunity papers knowing that you can save a pregnant woman and her baby tonight? Or do you let things play out?
Well, if this guy who's giving me this this decision, if his name is Castor Troy, I am going to take my face off, switch it with his somehow. I'm going to go into that prison undercover as his brother. Actually, I don't even remember. I'm ruining the plot. I don't think it would work because I'm like 5'1", but my first thought would be, okay, that would be very, very difficult. So really good scenario. This guy seems very desperate to get out, and I don't know if it's because he wants to taste freedom, or if actually that's a bad joke. Yeah, well, he's trying to it sounds like he's really desperate to to go and traffic more children. And I feel like I can't let that happen, as much as I don't want another pregnant woman to be killed, of course. But it's like, I have to weigh it. It's like, this guy's going to be free, and that's going to be on my conscience forever. So it's like, but then, so the other way, it's like, I'm still doing my job. I'm still on the same path that I was on, trying to catch this guy. And I'm going to like do everything that I can, with all the evidence, like, to stop him. But I'm not going to believe this criminal, because he just doesn't seem very trustworthy. He's in there. He's done terrible things. Yeah, I would.
But
really...
if he lies to you, he stays in jail. So in a sense,
true.
it doesn't
That's
really
true.
matter if he lies to you or not.
Yeah, that's true. Except if he's not lying, he's telling the truth, and he escapes, and then he goes on some kind of rampage. So that's really difficult. But I would say I just couldn't take that risk. But maybe because I've seen Face Off too many times. But yeah, it would be really cool if like we could send somebody undercover and try to like overhear his conversations. But that's just adding to it. But this is another screenplay that we could
Right. Oh my God. We need a
so
series.
many.
Well, to be
gonna-
fair, I stole this question online, so I can't take credit for this one. However, I will take credit for the Terminator Hitler one with C Rock.
Okay, great. Yeah. And you need to write it quick, because someone's gonna watch this podcast and take
we'll
all
sue the
our-
shit out of them.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
We'll get Elise's attorney.
Trademarked it
homie.
right
Yeah. Yeah.
You trademarked it already.
All right, so C Rock and Shareen are both no's. It's on you, Elise.
You guys are not gonna like my answer. So what I would do, you said we're in the interrogation room. Is the lawyer present or is he not?
He is your lawyer present and his lawyer is both present.
Okay. What I would do is I would be like, okay, so you know something that you're withholding information. I'm gonna charge you with that. I will escort you out in front of all the inmates so they know you're a snitch. I would be full of threats. If you don't tell me what you know right now, I will make your life a living hell. And then if he does, I would consider, probation. I would consider it, but I'm corrupt as fuck. I would totally be like, I will make your life a living hell. I will escort you and make it known you're a snitch. I will charge you with this. You'll be in jail for the rest of your life if you don't tell me what you know right now.
Damn, girl.
I like that
okay,
answer.
I like that answer.
I'm a villain.
You're thinking, no, it's like you're thinking outside of the box, and you have to think outside of the box when you're dealing with these kind of people. They're unpredictable. So I think that was smart. Yeah. Make that a movie. I'm sorry.
Oh, hey.
You can
There
start.
we go. Oh, I'll be the detective.
Yeah.
That was a great answer.
Or maybe be a little less maybe be a little less devious and just say, okay, I'll sign the immunity paperwork, but I'm the only one who holds a copy. And then once we catch a serial killer, that paperwork just disappears somehow.
Yeah.
I would be scared of the lawyer being present.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Hey, where's paperwork at?
I don't know. You had it.
Immunity. I don't even know how to spell immunity.
Trust me, the detective or this lawyer, the shyster lawyer.
I thought you signed a paper that said indubitably.
You know, like that's what the
Crispy
paperwork said.
critters.
I thought you was
It was
indubitably
like-
staying in jail.
Yeah. That's
So
what the paper
my
said.
answer.
Hey, do I want to say? Go.
So my answer is similar to Elise. I would take the deal, but I would heavily monitor this person to the point where I would probably do some shady shit and get them caught up. They're right back in jail for something else. I would have there's something in me that I couldn't just let a pregnant woman die with her baby. So that's my number one priority. And when you're dealing with two monsters and one's unknown, I'd rather deal with the monster I know than the monster in the closet that I have no information on. And so to me, this is a lesser of two evils question. And for my lesser of two evil, it's the monster I know and the monster I have some type of control. Like I understand I could completely fuck up. Like he could get away, go to a new country, do the sex trafficking thing all over. I could really drop the ball and fuck it up. But I feel I'm very efficient when I'm when it comes to kids and stuff like that. So I would die, making sure that this man doesn't hurt another child. And I know who he is. I know his name. I know where he's going to live. And that's the monster I have some type of control over. And like I said, I'm comfortable with my kind of control. And I couldn't just, and I agree with you though, C Rock, like some things are just out of your hands and you're not the one doing the killing. So, but I couldn't stand idle. So I would take the deal.
That'd be cool.
Great point.
I would be negotiating
since
the
I-
crap out of that deal.
Oh
I'd be
yeah, I
like,
would
"You're
be
not
doing
going
some
free."
shady shit too. I'm right there with
Yeah.
you. I'd be your partner. Like, hey, we could do this, girl. Like, I come up with some ideas. with you.
Waterboard them. You ready yet? You ready?
Oh man, I went to go check on him and shoot him in the head. Like, what happened? He slipped and fell in the kitchen. I don't know.
Is that a Rush Hour quote?
Yes, I knew you were gonna get that, Shareen.
Yay.
I'll shoot you. Say you slipped and fell in the kitchen.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites. That was so funny.
All right, so I think we're done with that one. So I guess we'll go with Elise next, and then C Rock will be last.
Okay. So which one did I want to do? Hold on. I had a couple. Oh, smack'ems. I'll
Save
go
one
with
for
this
next
one.
time. I love these are probably my favorite, like fun episodes, and it got deep. So this is fun, funny, and deep. So we got the trifecta on this episode. So save one. We're gonna do more.
Okay, then I'll do this one. So your best friend is getting married, right? I think you guys all know where this is gonna go. This is like 30
not
minutes
yet.
before. Oh no. 30 minutes for the wedding, you find out, and this is an extravagant, expensive wedding. Like
I'm
your
snitching.
best friend's happy, excited. You snitching if they're having an affair with the bridesmaid?
Well, finish the whole story, but I'm pretty sure I'm snitching.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So
Sorry,
they're
that was
having,
rude of me. I apologize.
you're fine. So they're having this huge wedding, and 30 minutes before the ceremony starts, you find out that either the groom is having an affair with the bridesmaid or the bride is having an affair with the best man. Do you withhold that information and let her live the best or him the best day of their lives? Or do you snitch on them and break that whole thing up?
Wait, did you just say the groom and the bride are both cheating?
No, either or, because I would assume that your best
Whoever's
friend
your
would
Oh,
be the groom.
according to my best friend. Okay.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, God damn, there's some Jerry Springer shit going on up in here. I
And then
understand now.
Shareen,
My
I would
bad.
assume she'll be best friends with like the bride, you know.
Yeah.
I understand now. Okay. Who's going first, at least?
Oh, it just landed on C Rock.
I'm with
I like
Jay,
that
I'm
method.
snitching.
All right, I was
I'm
like,
with
where
Jay, I'm
is it?
snitching. I'm going. I can't let my friend live a lie. You know, like
But
I'm sorry.
there's thousands, tens of thousands of dollars poured into this wedding. Yes, they're arriving.
Well, they was probably gonna get wasted anyway, because sooner or later, when they found out after the wedding, well, you know, if you go through with the wedding, it's wasted. If you don't, it's wasted. So I'm snitching. Like, I'm sorry. The minute I find out, if it was JayMan, the minute I found out, I'm running. Like, she could be walking down the aisle. I'm running down the aisle, and I'm a clothesliner like Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then I'm a fucking she changed, JayMan. You know, in front of him. So I hope he would be
I'm
as dramatic with me as I would be with
You gotta
him.
have the DJ play Stone Cold's music before you run down the aisle clothesline or your glass breaking. Dun-dun, 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 dun-dun.
I come running out. Here comes
What the hell going on?
Yeah, hell yeah.
This is the best
Crack
wedding I've
open
been
2
to all
beers.
year.
All of a sudden, you
I
hear
know.
JR on the announcer table. Dear God, she's fucking cut in half.
Damn.
Well, you know, I'm gonna be
Oh,
dramatic with it. Like, so I'm a yeah, bro. I hope you would do the same for me. Man. Hope you would have done the same for me.
Well, I guess I'll go next since you kind of pass it off. I'm snitching. I'm singing like Alicia Keys. I keep on falling. I'm singing. I don't care. I'm gonna be like, man, like, I'm sorry, C Rock, but you're gonna have to call this off. We gonna get drunk anyways. Friends and family are here. And we like to party. Let's make it a party. You're gonna cry a little bit. It's gonna be tough, but here's some alcohol. This is what this bitch is doing. And everybody's here. Fuck it, let's have a party. This ain't no wedding no more. This is a kickback. And let's go on kick back these drinks. And that's how I'm doing it. What about you, Shereen?
That
I can admit when I'm selfish. And at this moment, I feel like I don't want to ruin a good party too early. So I might be getting all my evidence together, like, behind the scenes. I got to have 100% proof. I'm going to have my photographs, like phone records, whatever.
For example, what if you saw them kissing?
Like
You saw them sneak a kiss. Like that's how you found out you're like,
okay, so I didn't have a picture of it, but I just know for sure. Okay, so I know like 100%. So I'm going to keep that information. When the pastor, whoever says, speak now or forever hold your peace, I'm going to be in the bathroom. I'm going to like time it so that I'm not, and then I'll speak up later. So then comes the reception and people are getting a little tipsy. And then I'm going to just like go up on the stage, ask the singer or the DJ if I can please have the mic. I need to have a word with you all. I don't know.
You're a wild one, girl. What the hell going on?
speech.
Yeah, like, okay, it would happen during the wedding day. And I don't know if I'd really do this. I might be all talk, but like, I would wait until everything's a little bit more rowdy because I don't want grandma to have a heart attack. She's sitting over there.
Yeah.
And then what I would do is I would say, we're going on the honeymoon together, me and the bride. Let's exchange the plane tickets and go and heal over in Europe or something. So just so I can switch it up, because this is a hard one, I will tell her 100%, but the time exactly.
Well, Shereen, they got to get a divorce now.
Now they're married.
You can get it
Shereen
annulled.
cut out.
Oh, wait. Oh, no, I have a backup. But go ahead. Yeah, you can get it annulled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know the rules. I'm like,
But
damn.
technically they're not married because with the wedding it's just a ceremony. You're not married till you turn in the paperwork. So legally, so
you're two places at one time.
Whoa, two Shereens. That's so cool.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's
She's a
Shereen.
twin.
There we go.
I just noticed. I just had to switch
Sorry.
my view.
I don't know what it was aiming at. Oh wait, shoot.
You're on mute on both, girl.
Oh my God.
Oh, what the fuck?
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh God. I don't know what to do. Okay, there we go. Sorry, guys.
That sound like that when they be fighting on Double Dragon. when you grab them and be giving them the knees. That's what that shit sounded like. Oh, that was amazing. Thank you so much, Shereen, for being
You're
on
welcome.
two cameras and making that cool noise.
I planned all that. Yeah.
Remember Double Dragon's copy on Sega, Streets of Rage?
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of better in a way. I missed that.
You could fight as a fucking kangaroo. Of course, I remember Streets of Rage.
That was fun.
Yeah.
The 90s.
Good times.
Primal Rage.
Yeah.
I got mixed up when we were talking about it before. I was like, yeah, it was a gorilla and a cheetah.
Yeah,
like,
that
I was
was
thinking
Primal Rage.
Yeah, Primal Rage. Whatever.
Instead of Killer
Yeah.
Instinct.
They're all raging,
Yeah.
All right, so on you, Elise, what is your answer to your question?
I'm not gonna lie. I think I would threaten the groom. I'd be like, it stops here. It stops now. Like, but I would still probably tell, but after the wedding, because, I don't know. I can't, like, I'm like, Shereen, I don't want, like, so many people flew in, like, there's thousands of dollars. I would probably let her go through with the wedding, but I'm kicking the groom in his balls and I'm just snitching. I'm snitching.
Yeah.
See, my thing is I always put myself in the situation. What would I want someone to do for me? I wouldn't be able to live with myself thinking I stood up there and said vows and this bitch was kissing on somebody right before we got married. Like, I feel so ashamed for like the rest of my life. I don't know if I'd ever recover from that. So I need
Yeah.
somebody to
neither.
tell me prior to the vows and saying I do and smiling and giggling and taking pictures. Like, oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
I guess I would feel if I didn't put myself in the bride's shoes, I'm sorry. But now that you mentioned it, that's why I said it was a selfish answer. Yeah, that would be really embarrassing to just like go through it with it all and you're so happy. And then to think back on that, that's like such a tainted memory versus like, let's just eliminate it altogether and then have the kickback, like you said, you know? So that's kind of, I mean, that's cool because that's kind of making me backtrack a little bit, but it does suck for everybody else.
Yeah,
because
and then it's almost like, sorry, I'll let you get back to what you're saying.
No,
Real quick.
that's it.
It's almost like you get your dream job and then you get fired the first week. Like, oh,
Right.
this shit's over already? Like,
Mhm.
why did I even come to my first day? Like, I wouldn't want to be here. So, my bad. I just had to say that real quick. You go ahead, Shareen.
We're really not good.
No, that's okay.
We even went to the orientation.
Yeah, bought a new outfit, you know.
But what if they work it out?
Yeah,
I think I
I
should work it
don't-
out before the wedding.
If they end up working out, that's perfectly fine. I mean, I guess I'm being selfish because I would want to know prior. But there ain't no working it out, you know, right before the wedding.
right.
Oh, you're right.
And my question is, were they making out like were they cheating, this person cheating at the wedding or like just before the wedding?
Let's say yeah, because I want to make like you're sure that they're doing the
Okay.
the deeds.
And I don't know if it would work out because I feel like that's so malicious, you know. It's not like,
you're
oh
right, yeah.
man, you know, it's like, really, you're gonna do it right there, like you don't even have any shame and you're kind of just doing it like it's a game. It feels like a game to you. So I wouldn't want to work. I wouldn't have that trust anymore. And I would want my best friend to, it would be very hard at first, but we'll find a way to get over it, you know, together, I guess. The honeymoon.
I feel like my friend, like the ones I'm considering, like just a handful, they would be so mad at me if I told them like you ruined it. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I prefer to know before, but I'm thinking about
those
like
aren't your friends,
hear
then.
my
And that's fair. I absolutely agree with you. If you know 100% they wouldn't want the day ruined, they would want you to tell them after, then you know your answer is 100% right. And they're more than welcome to feel that way. But I think that's
toxic.
insane.
I think that's toxic as shit to say you ruined it. Like, no, your cheating ass husband ruined it.
right. Like
100.
I wasn't the one fucking the bridesmaid. He was.
Yeah.
You know? Like, oh, how the fuck did I ruin anything?
exactly.
Bitch, I wasn't
Like
cheating.
put the
That's a
blame
great
where
point,
blame.
C Rock.
But another thing that made me think of is I guess you'd have to decide like if I do it at the wedding, if you know that maybe she doesn't want all of those people. Like let's say there's 500 people at the wedding. Maybe she doesn't want all those people in her business and now they all know that the relationship and maybe there were coworkers there and I don't know. So I would definitely I wouldn't get on the mic. I wouldn't tell the DJ to scoot over. I changed my mind on that. I would tell her in private. It's really just like the timing of it. I don't know, but
Yeah,
that is hard.
You tell her in private, she could at least break the wedding off and
Yeah.
make up some reason for right there to where nobody's in her business.
Yeah.
Could you guys imagine if Cupid Shuffle is playing and then Shareen talks to the DJ? To the left, to the left, now. Excuse me,
Everybody
Mr. DJ, I
makes
have an announcement.
Yeah.
Now walk in by yourself. Go ahead, Shareen, what you got to say?
Yeah. Well, now she's walking by herself, so you know.
Oh, there you go.
I would never interrupt a line dance, and you know this, but so I would wait till after. And
Cupid Shuffle.
that was a lovely Cupid shuffle. Now I have an announcement.
yeah.
I don't want to kill the mood or nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
This
But here it
DJ
goes.
play Irreplaceable by Beyonce.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, C Rock, it's on you for the last one of the night.
All right, so I'm gonna I'm gonna go off. Like I was gonna do something else, but I'm gonna go off what I was talking about with Star Trek because like there was an actual episode where there was a dilemma. It's not too scientific or too far out, but imagine. So here's the dilemma, basically. So in the story, the Enterprise comes across this like really outdated like 2-man spacecraft, and it's piloted by these 2 men who are part of the species called the Valinkin. So they were just like, hey, we were launched into space to try to find help. There's a disease that's killing off our species. So you take them back to their planet. Then you find out there's actually another species that lives there with them. They consider them a lower species. They're called the mink. So they're like a subservient species. So upon your analysis, you find out that they're not really like a lesser species. They're actually almost just as intelligent as the Valinkans. So then what you find out that actually what's killing off the Valinkans is a genetic disease, but it doesn't affect the mink. So it's killing off just one of the species. So the dilemma that you have is, do you help the Valinkans? Because if you help them, it's at the expense of the other ones. Or do you leave it be, and then the other ones go like die off, and then now the other species is left to prosper? So the question is, what do you do?
I'll go first because this one's easy for me. I'm not doing nothing. That just sounds like evolution to me. That's the Neanderthals and Homo sapiens right there.
That's a good point.
So mine's quick and easy. Someone else could take it from there. That's easy for me. None of my business.
Oh, here's the caveat. You actually the doctor on the I'm sorry, I meant the it probably changes JayMan's answer none, but the doctor actually did come up with the cure to it.
Mm-hmm.
So do you still help, or do you just none of your business?
Well, the fact that they treat the other people like lower citizens, it almost reminds me of white privilege in a sense. So I say let them die. Get them on about it. If they treated them like equals and like they got along together, equality, everything, then yeah, I'll say, if you have the cure, go ahead and cure these, individuals. But if they're treating other people like shit, I mean, sounds like karma to me. Sounds like evolution to me. Sounds like I need to mind my damn business.
I agree.
Who am I to play God?
Yeah. I think it went over my head a little bit because I was thinking like, I was trying to imagine the Varinkins or the whatever. But yeah, let's just say whatever happens.
You want me to explain it again, or?
I think it's because of all I've never seen Star Trek. So I'm like, but the Enterprise is like a big ship and they're trying to find,
other species.
Okay.
And at the time they're more technologically advanced than the Valinkans. So they're like a species that they normally would interact with. So just imagine you came across a planet, and Jay used a really good example, like how there was humans and Neanderthals at the same time. Imagine they had 2 intelligent species at the same time. One was treating the other one like a lesser, even though they're pretty much just as intelligent. But there's a disease killing off the other ones that are treating the ones that are like, treating the lesser species, but it doesn't affect the lesser species. You have a cure. It's like, what do? Do you help? Because if you do help, it's coming at the expense of the ones getting treated like a lesser species. And if you don't help, then you're letting the other ones die off.
Yeah. Okay, I understand. And I'm sorry you had to explain that twice. I think I was like, what?
No,
what?
no,
Rankin?
cool.
Ain't no problem. Ain't no problem.
I'm like, can you make that less sci-fi? But
yeah. I like that sci-fi.
Said it with a southern accent.
Sorry, I'm punch drunk because I have not eaten in a very long time. But yeah, no, it's not your fault. It's because I'm crazy. Anyway. But I do this every day. It's not you. I do this every day. Yeah, so I think it kind of feels like things are happening the way they're supposed to happen. If they're more advanced, that's fine because we're now in the same place and we can learn from their technology. If they have equal intelligence, pretty much, it's like if you're dying off, it might be for a reason. We're going to keep the cure just in case we develop it down the line or that other species develops it. But I think maybe it's better off to have the ones who are more what's the word, like accepting of other people, and they were, because they're going to build civilizations and include other people, and I feel like they're going to have better teamwork and they're going to work together and build a better society, and we may not have the problems that we have today if they're our origin point, so versus the ones who want to kind of like take over, like the dominant species, I guess. Does that make sense? Like, so yeah, I would let them kind of, whatever happens, no one's to blame. I wouldn't feel guilt for that. And then we can learn from their technology, but they're just going to have to, that disease is just going to have to take them if that's the way it was designed,
God intended.
Yeah, God intended. Like the Valenkins or the Vitrupins or the Dialans. I'm making things up, but
nah.
And I hope the Enterprise has a hot tub. That's what I was thinking, but
I'm pretty sure they do. Yes.
Okay, cool.
It reminds me of that episode of Rick and Morty. Do you guys watch Rick and Morty?
Yes.
I haven't watched it recently. I haven't seen every episode, but I'm familiar with the show.
Never seen it, but the guy who one of the voice actors got in a verbal argument with me. But anyway, go ahead.
Oh, you have to tell that story.
Okay.
Wait, how could you? Yeah, no, you need to do that. You need to tell that story.
Yeah. Isn't it the same? Is it the same guy who did Ren and Stimpy and Doug? Is that the same one who?
I don't know.
What's his name?
I don't know.
I'll tell you, but I don't want to open my laptop. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, he was basically saying, I said, I was talking about doing an interview with somebody, and he's like, actually, sorry to say this. He's like, oh, you kids have podcasts. Anyone can interview anybody now. And I said, I work at a radio station. And then his tone kind of changed. He's like, oh, okay, fine, whatever, old school. But he was just basically hating on the youth. He's like 70 something. But yeah, he's the voice of Doug, Ren, Stimpy. I think Rick and Morty as well, because there was something on there where I was like, I've never seen that show. I'll get his name. I'm just afraid of the camera popping on. So you go ahead and your story, and I'll get that for you.
Oh, remember when he saves the fart? He saves that fart cloud.
Oh, Ren and Stimpy?
Being like, no, on Rick and Morty.
Wait, they do that on Ren and Stimpy too.
That's terrible. This probably is the same guy.
It probably
saved this fart cloud.
Uh-huh.
You know about it, C Rock?
But what does the fart cloud do?
So he saves the fart cloud from being like annihilated, killed, and the fart cloud's like thanking him. He's like, now I'm gonna go on my way basically and annihilate like Earth and all these other civilizations because they're pests to me. So it's like if you would just would have let it die, that you guys should watch it. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen, I think, season 1 and season 2.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen the newer ones yet.
But no, that's probably in season 2.
Oh, is it?
I don't know.
Maybe I just fell asleep on the episode or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Doug.
That show's not that memorable to me.
And I haven't seen it, but I actually messed up. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no worries. For me, Rick and Morty is more of a vibe. Like, I know I watched it and laughed and enjoyed it. But like, the only thing I really remember is fucking when they were fucking with Freddy Krueger. I thought that shit was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
I don't remember what happened.
Scary
I just remember laughing and like, what the fuck is going on with this Freddy Krueger shit? Like,
yeah,
that was a good episode.
Yeah,
it's the best.
And then, Elise, did you give your answer yet?
Let him die.
Let him die. My bad. It's on C Rock. She's over here singing "Let Him Die." I love it.
Like the Lorax, but the opposite.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Great reference.
Yeah, on YouTube, I got into like a big argument with somebody about this because they were like, it's somebody I follow, but it was in the comment section of the video because they were basically saying that they committed genocide by failing to do something to help them. But I was like, they didn't commit the genocide. It's like, there's a difference between like saving somebody, failing to save somebody from a fire and starting a fire that killed them. You know what I mean? Like But me is you, and that's where the dilemma comes in to like, and it's sort of like was my thought process to Jay's example. It's like sometimes if you do something, you think you're helping, but the results of it could be far worse. It's like they're already, keeping this species as a lesser species. Like, who knows what they could have done if we just helped them. They might not be treating them as bad now because they're worried about this disease. And then the minute we take that off their plate, it's just like, oh, well, now I can go back to fucking you up. Like you never know. So sometimes you just got to kind of let things run its course, and just call it like that. So yeah, let them go. Like, hey, if y'all figure it out, you figure it out. Congratulations. But if you don't, what did they say in Don't Be a Menace? Like if you could swim, but if you can't swim, you down the drizzle. So I'm just saying, bro. Sorry, we got to keep it moving. Being enterprise, got to keep it moving.
Be unanimous on that one. So, man, those are some great questions, everybody, and that was some good range you brought us there, Chris. So thank you for that one.
Thank you. And, you're welcome, man.
So I guess we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping it up. Like I said, I'm gonna get better at wrapping it up. Anybody?
We talking
we're
about
not
podcast,
talking about
right?
intercourse. JayMan C Rock.
Enterprise. I think we had the same thought at the same time, Shareen.
Oh, really? About his skit, like Mentos pressure, like you know when you saran wrapped your remember that skit you did, Jay?
Yeah, or saran wrap my dick.
Yeah. I didn't want to say it, but you did.
Yeah,
that was a funny one.
I ran out of condoms, so I had to put saran wrap on my dick.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta improvise.
You're running out of condoms. You're doing something right?
Sometimes you got to get innovative,
or could have just drove to the store and got some more condoms.
Or use aluminum
there's
foil.
A girl.
Aluminum foil.
Oh my goodness gracious, girl! It's gonna cut somebody up. If there's a girl naked in your bed, you gonna be like, right back, baby, about to go to the store, give me some condoms. Warm that thing up for me. Warm that thing up for me now.
Can you DoorDash the condoms? Can you?
Oh yeah.
What you gonna do? Waiting there for 30-40 minutes for DoorDash to come with some condoms.
Put the tip. I was gonna say. Make the tip bigger.
Wait, what tip? Yeah,
which one?
I mean,
all right, we get a little out of control, man. What's going on up in here right now? We had a good, wholesome episode. We talking about dicks and tips and saran wraps and aluminum foil. All right, so before we wrap it up, the podcast wrap up. Any closing remarks from any of my fellow co-hosts?
Yeah, for the one nerd that's screaming at me that I'm wrong about the guy Ren and Stimpy and Rick and Morty. Yes, you were right, nerd. I'm a nerd too. It's okay. I was wrong. He did not work. He was on Futurama. Ren and Stimpy dug in Futurama. His name was Billy West, and he was the one who was kind of he wasn't involved with Rick and Morty. I got it mixed up because there's a lot of blank and blank and blank and blank. But he's kind of a legend. Animation. Yeah, exactly. He, anyone who was in Doug is legendary to me, but he's just very bitter right now. So we got in a little argument.
Shout out Skeet Face.
Oh yeah.
Skeet Face from Doug.
And the beats.
Pork chop.
I need more allowance.
There was a dude named
Is this live? Are people watching right now?
Skeeter. No, it's not live.
No.
Oh my God.
Skeeter, the blue dude, the blue nigga from Doug.
Yeah.
One day the green dude, Roger walked in. He was like, "What do you want, Skeet Face?" Because his name was Skeeter. And then Skeet ended up becoming a derogatory term. So now every time I hear Doug, I just think, "What do you want, Skeet Face?" And it's the greatest line in cartoon history because it makes
Skeet.
Yeah.
It makes Roger sound like a damn creep.
It didn't age well.
It makes Skeeter sound like he got Skeet all up on his face.
And like Heifer from Rocko's Modern Life. I just had to throw that in there. Like, Heifer, you named the cow Heifer? Okay. That became
Them
a
niggas
thing
was
too.
really
Male
blue and
cow.
green on Doug too. That's some crazy
Mhm.
shit.
Mhm.
And
Go ahead, Shareen.
oh, nothing. That's another episode, 90s cartoons. So I'll save it. When Good Burger 2 comes out, we can do an episode on 90s nostalgia.
Yeah,
Word.
we already have a couple '90s episodes in the works, so
Oh, good.
Yep.
we're definitely going to be doing that, and we will invite you girls to be on if you guys are down.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Hey, so when we coming on your podcast?
You
Who,
want to
me?
come on mine?
Oh, you're
Yeah.
I'm like, I got one.
You guys can come on the next one. Well, let me
When's
see.
that?
If we wanted to hit 10 episodes,
Okay.
I-
We
I'll
come
no
on.
just
worries,
roast you
but
guys off the
oh yeah,
camera.
we almost forgot to shout out, man. Shout out the dope podcast with
Yeah.
Elise,
Yay.
Charmin Elise, and her. I don't know your co-host name. You can shout them out though.
Young Miss and Tequila.
All
They're-
right, shout out Young Miss
Off
and Big
the
Kila.
squad.
I haven't watched the full episode, but I've been watching the clips on you guys' Instagram.
Yeah.
Really liking the conversations, and
Thank
keep it
you.
up. Keep it up.
Mhm.
Thank you. Now we should have a fusion day one time.
Mhm.
Oh my
Ooh.
god, that'd be crazy.
And that Martin Lawrence movie, we should super cop up. What movie was that? What movie that was? It was that one Martin Lawrence movie? I don't know. Somebody put it in the comment section.
Yeah,
Yeah,
help us out.
yeah.
All
Help
right.
me out.
So on that note, I think we go ahead and get on about of here. The moose is on the loose.
Mhm. About to get on the loose right now.
All right, y'all. Oh yeah, my bad. Thank you, Charmin Elise. Thank you,
Thank you for
Shareen,
having me.
for
Thank you
joining
for-
us. This was a really
Thank you.
fun episode. So thank you. I had a lot of fun. I can't wait to get it edited and posted. And once again, thank you to C Rock, and we gone.